Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to the last day of the spring semester, and hope you all had a great semester. Uh, my journal, over the course of our class, I decided to do on Afghanistan. The reason that I picked Afghanistan is that I am actually a combat veteran. I served in the Army, and from 2012 to 2013, I did a 9-month deployment in Afghanistan. Over the course of that time and since, I've been very fascinated with the nation's history, specifically its history of conflict and how it came to be known as the Graveyard of Empires. And I decided that this class would present an opportunity to explore other aspects of its culture, of its history, and how it came to be the nation that it is today. So we're going to get started in the 10th century. We're going to start with a woman named Rabia Balkhi. She was the daughter of the Emir of Balkh, which was a Persian province that's located in present-day northern Afghanistan. As the daughter of the emir, she was afforded the opportunity to receive an education, and through that education, she was exposed to poetry and ended up becoming one of the early mystic poets of Persian culture. Now, I'll get more into what a mystic poet is over the next in the next slide, but back to Rabia's story. She ended up falling in love with her brother's slave, Bakhtash, and Rabia's brother became jealous because of their love, and basically banished Bakhtash into a well and Rabia into a structure called a hammam. And best I could tell, a hammam is essentially a bathhouse, but I do have a visual representation of the hammam that Rabia was banished into. But back to Rabia's story. While in the hammam, Rabia cut her wrists and, using her own blood, wrote her final lines of poetry on the walls of the hammam. So not only was she an early mystic poet, but she also basically invented the musical genre of emo. So this is the hammam that you see pictured. And so, beyond my tongue-in-cheek reference from the previous slide, Rabia's legacy was she became a martyr for Islamic women, a feminist icon. She spoke truth to power and came to embody victimhood of the patriarchal order. To this day, you see hospitals and schools and women, families naming their daughters in her honor. And as I said, she was celebrated as an early mystic poet in the Persian tradition. And what a mystic poet is, what that means is that their poetry is intended to be an expression of love for God, was what I was able to discern in my research for this assignment. So now we're going to jump forward a little bit to the 19th century. So, Afghanistan in the 19th century was an extremely fragmented nation. Not only is Afghanistan a geographically fragmented nation because of its rugged terrain, but also differing tribal customs really dominate the norms of the nation and prevent a strong centralization of governmental control. As you see on the slide, there are between 40 and 59 languages spoken in Afghanistan. Some of the major languages are Dari and Pashto, Uzbeki, Turkmeni, and Urdu. So moving on. Modernization efforts were attempted in the late 19th century, and that was under the reign of Abdur Rahman Khan, as well as his wife, Bobo Jan. Khan was known as the Iron Emir because of his ruthless leadership style. But basically what that meant is that he didn't let tribal customs stand in the way of promoting and advancing women's standing in Afghanistan. Bobo Jan is the first queen to appear in public without a veil. She also was known to drill her, her ladies-in-waiting, as it were, in military drill and in horse riding practices of the time. Most importantly, she also participated in formal diplomatic negotiations. Moving on to Afghanistan in the 20th century, really the first golden era of social reform was recognized to have begun in the 1920s under the rule of Amanullah, who, if I remember correctly, was the grandson of Khan. And so Amir was Khan's son. Obviously, you see where Amir founded the first school for girls, and that ultimately led to his assassination and great protest by the population. And then, again, you see the friction of a strong centralized government and running into tribal customs and how that turned out. Amanullah helped draft the nation's first constitution and was influenced by Mahmoud Tarzi, a Turkish-educated thinker who promoted more liberal interpretations of Islam, and that included women appearing in public without the veil, as well as monogamy, and that's a departure from custom traditions of polygamy. And obviously, Tarzi's influence was very direct in the family as his daughter married Amanullah.